Hey guys, and welcome back to another Code.org video. Today we are working on lesson 30, changing variables with B. And I am going to begin right now. So the first thing we notice when we come into this problem is that it gives us a function right off the bat, which is a pretty good thing to have because we don't have to mess around with building it or worrying about which loop goes where. But what we are doing here is setting the gather to 2 initially. And then we are going to use this variable again within our other loops here. So what we want to do, it says finish this code so that the bee can collect all of the honey and nectar. No big deal. So we just go to our variables and we have gather, which is this variable right here that is currently set to 2, and we want to repeat this, what's in this loop, I think 3 times? Yeah, that looks right. So we will say we want to repeat it 3 times. Oh, sorry, let me turn the volume down. All right, 3 times, and then within our function, we want to repeat it gather times. And I know I complain about this all the time, but again, I wish that I could copy and paste these code blocks because it would just make things so much quicker. I'll see set gather to, doggone it. All right, let's go. Variables, we want to repeat that gather times, and then we want to repeat that gather times. And like I said in my previous lesson, these variables, this gather might as well be X or Y or Z. It can be any name you want it to be as long as you're setting your variables to the right number, or the right value I should say, instead of number. Okay, so now we have our collect row, repeat gather times, which we know is 2, and then repeat gather times, repeat gather times. Okay, so we know it's going to do it 2 times. We could have gone and put 2 here each and every time, but it's much easier to just set the variable, because then if I change this to 3, all of these change to 3 automatically. All right, so now let's run it. So the bee is collecting all of the honey and all of the nectar. Perfect, and the bee is happy. Excellent. Let's move on to puzzle number 2. All right. So now we have when run, set gather to 2, repeat 3 times, do collect row. So we have it repeat gather times, and now it says edit your solution in one place so that the bee can collect all of the honey and nectar. This is exactly what I was talking about. So we're going to set gather to 3 this time. So we're just changing that one variable, and it's going to make this change all throughout for us. So now the bee is going to go, it's going to collect all the honey, and it's going to collect all the nectar. Boom, boom, boom. It's going to collect all that, and we're good to go. So like I was saying, you change the variable once and it changes it throughout all the code. So, instead of 5 or 10 lines here, imagine if you had 150, 200, 10,000 lines of code. Variables really start to come in handy. Moving on to puzzle number 3 now. So we still have our same function and our same variable as before, set gather to 3. Now it says such an amazing garden. In this puzzle, each patch needs the variable to be 1 less than the patch before. Subtract 1 from the variable each time through the loop if you want to use the same function to solve this level. So what we need to do here is go into our variables and then say set gather to, and then let's do some math. So we're going to say, I'll pull this function in. So there we go. I'll pull that function out of the way. All right, so we are going to change this 1 to our variable gather. And we're going to say minus 1. That way it's doing the variable, or it's subtracting from the variable each time. So it's going to repeat 3 times. It's going to go through the collect row and repeat it gather times, which on the first round it's going to be 3. So we're going to get both of these. And then it's going to drop that to 2, and then it's going to drop it to 1. And I'll just let you watch the bee do it instead of me rambling about it. Keep the videos short, Nick. That's what people like. All right. So the bee did it exactly like that. And what we did with this math here is, so we had our gather, and we said for each time it does this, we're going to subtract 1 from that variable, and then that's it. So we're going to move on now to puzzle number 4. Alright, so in puzzle number 4 it says edit the code to make it work for this puzzle. So now we have 1, 1, 2, 2, 3, 3. So it looks like we just need to do the opposite. Instead of subtracting 1, we're going to add 1 each time. Let's see if that works. Uh-oh, what happened? What did I do? Yes, so we need to set gather to 1. Let's try it now. There we go. So that was the other thing. So we need to change 2 things. We need to change it to +1, so it would do that, and then we needed to start at 1 instead of trying to gather 3 times. Excellent. Let's move on to puzzle number 5. All right, so this one, it looks like we're going to create our own code. So this isn't going to be too hard because it's basically the same as what we did before. We're going to look at 1 here, 1 here, 2 here, 2 here, 3 here, and 3 here. So I can already see that we're going to be using some math and setting gather to gather +1 each time. So initially, the very first thing we want to do is define our variable. And we're going to rename this variable to, well, let's just call it gather because that's what we've been using. So we'll rename it to gather. And we're going to set it to 1, which we will change. Oops, sorry. We'll change it in math. We'll change it here to 1. And then we will pull in a repeat loop to do it. Instead of 1 time, we want to do it gather times, which is in our variables again. Oh, I'm sorry, we don't want to do it gather times. We want to do it 3 times. So we'll go into our math again because we're going to go 1, 2, 3. So we'll go 3 times, and then we're going to say do, and then we need a function just like we did previously. Pretty much exactly the same. We're just going to call it collect row, and then we will say another loop in here. And we will set that, oops, don't pull the whole loop out. We will set that loop to do it gather times, repeat gather times, and do move forward. So where's my actions? Move forward. And then we want another repeat loop. And again, copying and pasting would be so nice right now, but they just won't give us that tool. Variables gather times, and this time we want to say get nectar. So that's the first thing we're going to do, and it's going to do it 1 time, right? So do get nectar, and then we're going to repeat gather times again, which is the amount of times we need to do it. And we'll pull in another repeat loop, and we will get rid of that block there, and we will pull in our gather variable, do gather times, and we need to move forward again because we know we move forward, get nectar, move forward, get honey. So this time we're going to, or sorry, make honey, not get honey for whatever reason. We're going to make honey from honeycomb, even though you actually get honey from honeycomb. You don't make it. I guess the bee will make it. That makes sense. I'm an idiot. All right, so collect row. So where are we now? So we've done that gather times make honey. We need to do one more thing that I forgot. I forgot to tell it to move forward. So we need to repeat. We'll put this in between these two. So we need to move forward, get nectar, move forward, make honey. So we're going to repeat this gather times, and we're going to move forward, which for this one it's just 1. And then at the end of all this we need to do one more thing, which is turn right. Turn right, just like that. Boom. Okay. And then, oh yeah, I still have this gather floating around out here. So we need to call in our function collect row, and then we need to do some math. We need to say variables set gather to gather +1 again, I think. Yeah, it's just gather +1 because because it's 1 1 2 2 3 3. So this should work just fine because we're going to move forward, get nectar, move forward, make honey, turn right, move forward, move forward. So we're going to change it to 2, and then move forward, and then do it 3 times. So this looks like it will work. Let's see if it does. Boom. Excellent. Perfect. All right, it did indeed work. So again, I repeat this a lot, but the trick to code.org is thinking about what your character needs to do incrementally. Oh, we are never going to skip this. We are ready for the challenge puzzle. Let's do puzzle number 6. All right, so let's look here. So it looks like we're going to zigzag a little bit, which is not a big deal. It just means we're going to be moving forward, turning right, moving forward, turning left, and then it looks like we're going to move forward, turn right, move forward, turn left. So no big deal. So let's go ahead and build our function first this time, because that's what we're actually going to be doing. So let's just say gather zigzag stairs. Let's just say stairs. That's shorter. You want to be concise when you're writing code. And you also want to be pretty literal so that if somebody else comes to look at your code, they know what it is you're talking about. If nobody knows what the heck you're talking about in your code or your comments, then it makes it really hard for other people to use your code to do anything useful. All right, so collect stairs, and let's go ahead and define our variable here. Set I, and let's rename the variable again to gather, and we will set it from now to 1 because that is how many times we need to do it the first time. And then under our collect stairs, let's pull in a variable, and then let's pull in a loop, and we're going to say repeat gather times do move forward, same as we did last time. Move forward. And then this time we're going to say repeat instead of doing it adding 1 or subtracting 1 each time, let's instead do 4 minus gather. You'll see why. So this time we're going to repeat. We'll pull in our repeat loop here. And we'll delete that variable there. And we're going to say repeat, and we're going to do math. And we're going to change that 1 to a 4, and we're going to say 4 minus gather do, and we're going to say get nectar. Get nectar. There we go. This one's a long one. This one's kind of complex, and you can see there's 29 blocks, so we're not very far into it yet. Okay, so then after we get the nectar, we need to turn right, which that's pretty straightforward, thank goodness. Don't have to repeat that gather times at least and change the variable and do all that. All right, so let's again say repeat gather times. And we could use while loops for this, but we don't have enough, like, while there is nectar, while there is honey. We're not gonna mess with that right now. We're just gonna use our basic repeat loops to get through this. All right, so we're gonna again say repeat gather times do. Well, what's the next thing we need to do? We need to move forward so that we can be where the honeycomb is. So let's say move forward. And then again, we need to repeat 4 minus gather. And the reason we're setting this is because, 4 minus 1 is 3, 4 minus 2 is 2, and 4 minus 3 is 1. So we could set gather to 3 and do gather minus 1 each time, but I think it's a little bit more mathematically correct to say 4 minus gather. So it's just, trust me, it's more mathematically correct to do it this way. All right, and then we will say do move forward, and then we're going to pull in our other loop and say repeat 4 minus gather, and again copy and paste, man. All right, repeat 4. Oh man. Repeat 4 minus that one, gather, our variable, times do make honey. All right, and then what do we need to do? We need to turn left so that we're back facing this direction to move forward and get that nectar. And then instead of having to build all the rest of the code and make multiple functions, we'll just be able to change that variable each time. And I'll show you how to do that in just a second after I put in this turn left. Okay, so this function has now been built. And then we are going to set this, we'll put another loop in and say repeat. How many times do we want it to repeat? 3 times we want it to repeat. So we'll take some math and we'll put it here and we'll say 3 times. And then do, pull in our function of gather stairs, and then we need to do something else after we do this. For each time this happens, we need to do a mathematical function to increase the value of gather. So let's go ahead and go back into math. No, let's go into variables, I'm sorry. Math and variables are very similar. And we're going to say set gather to, now we can go into math. And we can pull this and we can say, let's get rid of that, all right, gather plus 1. So now when it goes here and it goes through this, then it's completed gather stairs once, and it's going to do this. It's going to say set gather to gather plus 1, so it's going to say set gather to 2, so it's going to move forward 2, and then it's going to collect twice, and then so on and so forth. So there we go. We've used 29 out of 29 blocks. Let's go ahead and give it a run. All right, he's turned right, he's turned left, he's turned right, and he's turned left. He's chugging right along. He's gathered the nectar, gathered the honey. There we go. So this is how you get this to, I guess the trick here was that we were gathering less each time, but we were moving more each time, which is why we needed this 4 minus gather. See, I told you why it would come in handy, so that's why we needed to use that. So we're moving on to puzzle number 7 here, which is, I think, the second. Yeah, there's only 8 puzzles in this. Thank goodness, because these ones are actually pretty challenging. And you know, I haven't done these before. You can see this is the first time I'm doing these, so I'm just working through them. I'm working through them with you guys, and I'm doing them as fast as I can. All right. So in this one, it looks like we just need to do this until there's not a path anymore. We need to move forward. And I like these ones. I like the while path ahead conditional because it takes a little bit of the work out of it. And, you know, programmers don't like to do more work than they have to because programming is a lot of work. So we're going to say set I to, and we'll just leave it as I for now. Set I to 1. I don't know why I keep changing it to gather when I could just leave it as I. I tell you it can be anything you want, and then I change it to gather. So we'll leave it as I this time. And we will pull in a function, do something. And I do like to name my function something that has to do with it. So we're just going to say collect. And that means we're going to collect honey or nectar, whatever it is. All right, so what we're going to do here is we're going to pull in, well, I thought a conditional, but we'll just say while path ahead, which is a conditional, by the way, because it's only going to do it while there's a path ahead, but it's also a loop. Loops and conditionals are very similar. Variables and math are very similar. Functions and loops can even be considered similar. Functions and actions are very similar, even though actions make up functions. When you execute a function, you're doing an action. Anyway, enough rambling. Let's go on and build our function here. So we have while path ahead, do move forward, which is what we need to do, and then repeat gather times, do make honey. So we're going to do 1 here, 3 here, 5 here, 7 here. So it looks like when we go to do our math for changing our variable, it looks like we're going to add 2 instead of just 1. No big deal. All right, so let's repeat this gather times instead of while path ahead, or not gather, I'm sorry, I times. We want to repeat it I. Variables I times do make honey. And one thing you really want to make sure is that you never put your function, like I have my function here. If I put collect inside collect, I'm going to end up with an infinite loop that's going to crash code.org completely, and we do not want to do that. All right. So here we are. Let's see. Repeat I times. So that's good. I is one there, one there. All right. Make honey. And then turn right and move forward. And this should work. This little turn right, move forward should work every time. It looks like we're going to be doing the same thing over and over. All right. So now we're going to say turn right and then action move forward. We only have 21 blocks here too, so we need to be careful. Move forward, repeat gather times do get nectar. So let's do that. Repeat, yeah, because we did repeat gather times do make honey, so we want to repeat gather times do get nectar. Exactly the same, just with a different thing. Oh, and I keep saying gather because now that's in my head, but it's I now. Repeat I times. Functions, variables, there we go. I, repeat I times do get nectar. Okay, and I think that's it for our collect function. Yeah, so we have while path ahead do move forward, so then when there's not a path ahead, it'll say repeat I times make honey. Yep, turn right, move forward. And then repeat I times get nectar. And so now all that's left is to connect these dots. We have to move this distance. And to do that, it's not going to be very difficult, really. We're going to say repeat, well, how many times do we need it to repeat? 1, 2, 3, 4 times. Not 5, because we're going to turn right and move forward at the end. So 4 times is how many times we need to do this. 4 times do function collect. And then we need to change our variable for gather. We need to change, or for I, I'm sorry. We need to change our I variable to be reflective of how many things are here. And so since we're starting at 1, what is common between 1, 3, 5, and 7? They are all separated by 2. You're counting by 2s with odd numbers. So in our variables, we will say set I to, we'll pull in our math, and we'll say I plus 2. And I think that should do it. Let's let the B go. Yep, so it's doing it while path ahead. While path ahead, it's still running. Yes, it looks like it's going to work. It's done it 2 of the 4 times, so there's 0, 3, 2, 5, 0. All right, there's 3 times. And 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, 0. 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, 0. Excellent. We made the bee very happy. Woohoo. Let's move on to puzzle number 8 because puzzle number 7 was a pain. Oh, good. We just have to answer a question. So here, holy cow, move and increment. So that's, this is cool. Building a change variable into the function. That's a pretty useful thing. So it says, look at the code below. How many units of nectar will the bee collect at the end? So we have set nectars to 1. Where is nectars? Where did we define that? Okay, it's just right here. Set nectars to 1, so 1, and then move an increment, so it's going to move forward, and then set nectars to nectars plus 1, so it's going to move. So then we have set nectars to nectars. Holy cow, that's a it's ridiculous. Let's see. How many do we think it is going to do? I don't know. Let's break this code down real quick and see if we can figure it out. We have set nectars to 1. Okay, move an increment. It's going to move forward, and then it's going to set nectars to nectars plus 1, which is going to be 2 at this point. And then we have set nectar to nectars plus 1, so that's going to be 3. So it's going to move forward 1, 2, 3. I don't think it's going to get any of the nectar. What do you think? I don't think it's going to get any of it. Let's choose an answer. So let's say the bee won't. No, it's not because the variable isn't called gather, though. It doesn't matter what the variable is named. I think maybe it'll get 2 nectar. It's definitely not going to get all of it. Yeah, it only got 10. So repeat nectars times. So that's it. Yeah, because we set nectars to 0 at the end. and then move and increment, so it's going to move forward. Yeah. Okay. Excellent. So that is lesson number 30. Thank you very much for watching this video. I'm sorry it's definitely a long one, but this is pretty challenging, building functions using variables and changing variables. It can be difficult. So hopefully this video helped you out. If it did, go ahead and leave a like button, or hit that like button. If it didn't help you out, well, then you know what to do. If you have questions, go ahead and leave them in the comments, or if you have suggestions for other Code.org videos or even Code.org courses you'd like to see, go ahead and leave those down below. And please subscribe so you can always be up to date on my Code.org videos. Thanks again for watching. I will see you in the next video.